Hello, in this video I will do some IV fluids and medication intake problems. So this will be a very short video and we are doing intake and output fluid and medication intake. Okay, so let's do example one. Example one says order is for 1250, 1250 milliliters over 2 hours, then given 125 milliliters per hour for 12 hours. How much IV fluid will the patient receive in 6 hours? So the key is you need to know uh, our final answer has to be in milliliters. Okay, so that's how you know you did it correct. Okay, so how do we do this? So we want to know the total amount of IV fluids. So we know that in 2 hours, it was exactly 1250. That was given, right? Right here, 2 hours, 1250 milliliters. And then after that, for example, in the next 2 hours, 4 hours, it's growing at a rate of 125 milliliters per hour. Um, so yeah, it's growing at a rate growing at a rate of 125 milliliters per hour. We want it in milliliters, so what we'll do is multiply this this rate, 125 milliliters per hour, by 4 hours, right? So as you can see, the hours disappears, and then you're left with 125 milliliters. But we want it in a total of 6 hours. So, um, yeah, that is a total of 6 hours, right? 4 plus 2 is a total of 6 hours. So our total amount of fluids. So in the 2 hours, it was 1250. And then in 4 hours, it was 125 milliliters. They're all in milliliters. So our total is just add them up. You get 1750 milliliters of total of 6 hours. Okay, next example. Okay, example two says patient has LR, which stands for lactate ringers, ordered at 100 milliliters per hour through their primary IV. Through a second IV line, the patient is receiving cefazoline every 8 hours and 50 milliliters of fluid running over 1 hour, and cyclodimycin every 6 hours and 50 milliliters. You have to excuse my pronunciation because I I am not a I'm not a medical student. I'm a math teacher, so I'm not quite familiar with how to pronounce these drug names. Okay, now let me read the problem again. Sorry. So, patient has LR lactate ringers ordered at 100 milliliters per hour through their primary IV. Through a second IV line, patient is receiving cefazoline every 8 hours and 50 milliliters of fluid running over 1 hour, and cyclodamycin every 6 hours and 50 milliliters of fluid running over 30 minutes. How much IV fluids? So I think how much IV fluids? I think we want it in milliliters. Will the patient receive in 24 hours, around to the nearest whole numbers? So yeah, so let's talk about the drugs. LR. So let's talk about the lactate ringers. Um, lactate ringers said it was ordered at 100 milliliters per hour. So yeah, let's do that. So LR is 100 milliliters per hour. And we want it in a total of 24 hours, right? We want the total amount. So, because we want our final answer to be milliliters. So that's why I'm going to multiply this by 24 hours. And as you can see, the hours disappears, and then you're left with milliliters. Just multiply across. So what's 100 times 24? 240 milliliters. Okay. The next drug we have to take in consideration is that cefazolime, and that's every 8 hours in 50 milliliters. Every 8 hours in 50 milliliters of fluid running over 1 hour. So what that really means is, the drug cefazolime is 50 milliliters every 3 hours. So that is a total of 150 milliliters, right? And then the third drug was clindamycin. Yes, clindamycin every 6 hours and 50 milliliters of fluid running over 30 minutes. So you have 50 milliliters. So it said it was 50 milliliters over 30 minutes. Wait, no, no, no. It said incline every 6 hours in 50 milliliters. So we have it in a 24 hours, right? So every 6 hours, but we have it in a total of 24 hours. So it's really 24 divided by six. So that's a total of four, right? Four times. So that's going to multiply that by four, and you get 200 milliliters, right? And then your total is 2,400 milliliters plus 150 milliliters plus 200 milliliters. That is a total of 2,750 milliliters. Okay, example three, last one. So a patient has an LR, lac I think that stands for lactate ringers, ordered at 125 milliliters per hour in their peripheral IV. The patient is also receiving the drug metronidazole IVPB every 6 hours. IVPB, I think that PB stands for piggyback, every 6 hours in 100 milliliters running over 30 minutes. Through their central line, the patient is receiving TPN at 75 milliliters. So how much total IV fluids will the patient receive in 24 hours? Round to the whole numbers. So it's this one's just like the one just like example two. We just gotta list all the medication we're taking. So our final answer has to be in milliliters. So let's start with the LR lactate ringers. So there's one note. Lactate ringers will be running all the time except when the patient is getting their IV piggyback. So note yourself. Okay, so let's keep that in note. Keep that in mind. Lactate bringers will be running all the time, except when patient is getting their IVP piggy bank. So let's do the lactate ringers. Um, so what did they say about lactate ringers? It said had an patient has an LR ordered at 125 milliliters in their peripheral IV. So that would be 4 times 30. So yeah, 4 times 30 because why did I say 30? Is because it's running over 30 minutes. So 4 times 30, that's 2 hours. So keep in mind we're doing this in one 24-hour period. So in we only did 2 hours, so we needed to go 22 more hours. So 22 hours times the the rate, which was 125 milliliters per hour, right? And you get 2750 milliliters. Okay, so that was for the lactate ringer. Now let's do the drug metronidazole. So it said it was running for the drug metronidazole IV piggyback every 6 hours, right? So every 6 hours, and because we're doing it in 24-hour span, it would be 24 over six. That'd be um 4. So it's going to be 4. So you're running it every a total of 4 hours because it's running every 6 hours, and then there's in a 24-hour period. So 24 divided by 6, it's 4, and then times it by 100 milliliters, and you get 400 milliliters. Okay. And then let's do the drug TPN. The TPN is running at a rate of 75 milliliters per hour. So that's going to be 75 milliliters per hour in a 24-hour period. So you want to get it in milliliters. So that's why I'm going to put 24 hours on the top and then one on the bottom. See how the hours disappears. So what's 75 times 24? 1800. Okay, so that was the drug for the TPN. Now all we got to do is add up them all. So our total is, let's see, for the lactate greener, it was 2750 milliliters. For the drug metronidazole was 400 milliliters. And then for the drug TPN, it was 1800. So in total, it is 4950 milliliters. Okay, so this was a very short video or a little introduction of um, intake and output IV, intake and output fluid and medication intake. Okay, so we should stop here and then maybe we could do uh, converting pound stances for pediatrics. Okay, I'm going to stop here.